Hello, everyone. How many have we got here today? Not 1,000? How many? 150, 200? I think so. Morning, everyone. It's terrific to see you all. My name's Peter Overton. Welcome to Royal Rehab's 20th Wall of Fame ceremony. It's my 10th time as MC, and we do it in Royal Rehab's 125th year of operation. So there's a lot of really good numbers today. Today's Wall of Fame is being live streamed on Royal Rehab's Facebook and LinkedIn, plus Ryde's local community radio station 2RRR has fearlessly returned to live broadcast it all again, so we thank them for that. I'd now like to invite Royal Rehab's CEO, Matthew Mackay, to pay respect to the traditional owners and ongoing custodians of this land. Matthew.
Welcome, everybody. On behalf of Royal Rehab, I would like to officially begin today's Wall of Fame ceremony by acknowledging the Wallumattagal people, the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, and we pay our respect to elders past and present, and would also like to extend the respect to all of our Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders that may be with us here today. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you so much, Matthew. I'd like to acknowledge our special guest today, Susan Pearce, Secretary of New South Wales Health. Welcome. Councillor Penny Pedersen, City of Ryde East Ward Councillor, Royal Rehab's Board of Directors, of course. Royal Rehab's donors. We're pleased that Royal Rehab's oldest and most generous of donors can be represented here today. The Ducati Owners Club of New South Wales. The official photographer, Matthew, happens to be a member of this club, and we thank you, Matthew. Straight down the barrel at you, mate. You were spot on in your timing. 47 years you've been supportive. That's just extraordinary. So thank you to the Ducati Owners Club of New South Wales. Of course, we have 11 Wall of Fame ambassadors from previous ceremonies. Paul, not only an ambassador, but also another long-term and generous donor. Welcome. Sigrid, the longest-serving Wall of Fame ambassador, way back in 2011. There you are. Said hello to you earlier. Victoria and Naomi, two of last year's ambassadors, Royal Rehab's companion dog, Freya. Magnificent. There we go. Say your name. I nearly didn't say your name. Okay, I'll come and say hello. I think Freya is well. I know the ambassadors are the star of the show, but Freya, you're very close second. Joe and Adam from a couple of years back, welcome. 3 ambassadors from 2019, Rosemary, Mark and Ari. Vicky and Jordan from 2017. Welcome to you all. Also the prefects from Ryde Secondary College. Where are you? No? Where are you guys from? Oh. Prefects are up there? What, you didn't get the prefect's badge? Oh, just can't hear. I welcomed you. A very warm welcome, I see. You wanted that very special welcome. Welcome to you all. Also, hello, Frey. The most important people here today, our incoming Wall of Fame ambassadors. Welcome to you all. We have received formal apologies from Royal Rehab's joint patrons, Her Excellency the Honourable Margaret Beasley, ACQC Governor of New South Wales, and Mr Dennis Wilson. They have a prior engagement today, so can't be with us, but they have asked that we pass on their very best wishes to you all. Her Excellency has still managed to participate in this event. She's written a personal letter to each one of our inductees today. She's a great governor, great woman, and it's really good of her to do those letters. So you'll see them when we present you with your Wall of Fame certificate, etc. today. Mr Jerome Laxell, Federal Member of Parliament for Ryde, has prior commitments, can't be with us. Mr Jordan Lane MP, State Member of Parliament for Ryde, he can't be with us for the ceremony but will be with us for the lunch. And Mayor Brown of the City of Ryde has asked to pass on his best wishes to all involved with today. Now, the housekeeping. Mobile phones, are they on silent? Yes. Okay. Case of beer if they're not. Toilets located at the back of the room. 3. Now, this is where I feel like I'm a flight attendant. In the case of an emergency, we have a choice of 3 exits. The main entrance doors, the fire exit just behind me, and via the toilets. Please assemble on the grass area outside on the sports centre, and that is if there is an emergency, but there's not going to be one, so we're all good. I'd like to welcome I love this man, Clayton King. He's the Royal Rehab Brain Injury Service Director and Medical Services Director. He'll give us an overview of the Wall of Fame.
Well, thank you all for coming and fitting in the room. And I'm so pleased to see all the Wall of Fame ambassadors and previous ambassadors. The Wall of Fame, there were some interruptions during COVID, but has been running for more than 20 years. And the history was that we had clients, families, patients saying, how can we understand what the journey after a head injury is like, after a brain injury is like? And it was very hard to sort of come up with an idea where we could be very clear. I've already bored Freya, unfortunately, and I didn't bring any carrot. So, but the issue really was, how can we set it up so that people can get access to the history and the experiences of other people, and how can people be inspired? And the people who are involved in the therapists in particular, and a group of patients came up with the idea of a Wall of Fame. So, and it's just progressed from then. And the thing about it is that it highlights the journey. It highlights that the inpatient rehabilitation is just the start of the process. And I think there's so many people who've had that experience that it's only the start of the process about getting back into the community and having family supports and working in the community with the therapists is so important. And I think that every single story highlights those issues. And we thank you very much for sharing your stories. And we understand that something about the providing your story to others also means something to you as well. So it has a rite of passage aspect. I think Stuart's nodding here. We'll hear from him in a few minutes. Damien, thank you for coming. JP, it's just fantastic to hear your stories. So I invite you all to participate and to shed a tear about your own experiences or the experiences of people who are going to share their stories. And thank you all for coming today. So.
Thanks. Thank you, Dr. King. Well, today we're privileged to hear from 6 Wall of Fame ambassadors. For some of today's ambassadors, this will be the first time that they publicly shared their story. And I acknowledge that it could be a nerve-wracking experience for them. But it takes courage and to be brave. And Damien is leading us off today, and he is ready to go and tell us his story. Would you please welcome Damien?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Damien Liu, and I'm 31 years old. I've grown up always playing sports and enjoying any type of physical activity. That love has persisted, and since my accident, I stay physically active doing recumbent cycling through Royal Rehab's recreational program, boxing, going on walks, and practicing jogging at the park on the treadmill. My accident happened in December 2017 whilst backpacking in India. Along with fellow backpackers I met at the hostel, we each rented a scooter foolishly from a store that didn't have any helmets. I don't remember anything from the accident, but apparently I came off rounding a corner and suffered a traumatic brain injury. Fortunately, those I was with were able to get an ambulance to rush me to the closest hospital to have life-saving surgery. When news of my accident reached my family back home, my parents and one of my older brothers flew over to India to be by my side in hospital. Due to the TBI, I woke up with paralysis down the left side of my body. so my parents and brother had to organise my transport to the airport in a wheelchair to catch a business flight home. Upon landing in Sydney, I came home and then later admitted to Royal North Shore Hospital. There I was frequently visited by friends and family, which helped boost my morale and reassure me I was supported. In early stages of recovery there, I required a high level of support for personal care and transferring in and out of the hospital bed. When I was transferred to Royal Rehab, I was set up with an adaptive wheelchair that enabled me to wheel myself to intensive rehabilitation sessions. After meeting all the caring staff and settling into Royal Rehab, I remember a relieving sense of calm came over me with the feeling that everything would be okay. I ended up enjoying my time at Royal Rehab far too much as I worked with dedicated therapists. So upon being discharged, I was able to walk out the front door, only assisted with my AFO and walking stick. A quick update on that note, as of Wednesday this week, I managed to jog on the treadmill for 10 minutes continuously at a speed of 4.2 kilometers per hour. Thank you. Back to my journey thus far. Upon being discharged from Royal Rehab, after I healed from my cranioplasty and physical recovery progressed to walking without a walking stick, I started driving lessons under Royal Rehab's return to driving course to obtain my license for a modified car. Soon I grew the confidence to return to work part-time, so I reached out to an old director from a construction company I previously worked at as an undergrad, and he was kind enough to give me a shot at a part-time role in his new consultancy business. Unfortunately, that role didn't work out, so I had to reassess. Considering physical rehab is still on the forefront of my mind, now wasn't the time to return to a vocation as complex and demanding as construction. While searching for more manageable work, I tried volunteering at a food shelter for the Bill Cruz Foundation until I found my current part-time role at a local not-for-profit centre for people with intellectual disabilities. I really enjoy working there and may continue building a career in the disability and health sector. I think it's safe to say the recovery in my journey thus far can be greatly attributed to love and support of my family and friends who have stuck by my side, and Royal Rehab, my external support coordinator and support workers whose care, support and expertise has helped guide me through this journey. Although we're not certain of what the future holds for me, I know due to this support, I'll keep moving forward and push to achieve my rehab goals and fundraise for Royal Rehab. To wrap up, I'd like to express my heartfelt thank you to my family and friends, Royal Rehab, Royal North Shore Hospital, the NDIS, and the previous Wall of Fame ambassadors that I gathered so much hope and inspiration from when I began my journey. Thank you.
Well done, Damien. We're going to now present you with your letter of congratulations from the New South Wales Governor, your frame, story and badge. And while that's going on, there are three special guests here today who we'd like to applaud and acknowledge. Could Harriet Brazil, Rachel Jackson and Siobhan Horton please be upstanding? Where are you guys? There you are. So I'll tell you about them. Nurses from the Royal North Shore Hospital, neurosurgery, and did a sensational job of looking after Damien and possibly some of our other ambassadors here today. So, ladies, to Harriet, Rachel and Siobhan, we acknowledge you, thank you, and I know Damien does as well. How about a round of applause for Damien, our first ambassador? Well done, mate. Our second ambassador, Piara, who's travelled all the way from Coffs Harbour, I should say, to share her story with us. Piara is the main reason Royal Rehab's beautiful... Oh, she's gone. Freya. Oh, she's on toilet break, okay. Is in attendance today. Piara stipulated, as I understand it, that Freya was on the guest list, correct? Yes. Would you please welcome Piara to the microphone to share her story?
Thank you. Okay, so I'm Piara Stokes, age 20, and I'm with the most loving partner ever, Connor O'Hare. We have two animals, Misty our dog, the Aussie Kelpie, who we rescued from the RSPCA and is age 5, and Token is a ragdoll kitten and is 5 months old. Misty is very calm and the complete opposite to how you would picture an Australian Kelpie to be. And Token is still in his kitten stage, so he's full of energy and is very playful. Sometimes it feels like Misty is the cat and Token is the Kelpie. Ever since meeting Connor and letting him know about my injury, he's been very patient with me. He has always supported me with my goals and ambitions, and he has been very understanding with my injury. He accepted me in a time in my life I didn't think I was ever able to find such love and support in a relationship because of my injury. He accepted me and appreciated me for who I was without making me feel judged. I'm the youngest of 3 children, Kirsten being the eldest and Vincent being the middle child. I love them all very much. Growing up, as we grew older and matured, we all got very close and super tight because we all knew it's a very tough world out there and we've got each other to lean on. In rehab, we'd always talk about how I got locked up in jail because I did something stupid just to try brighten some things up a bit. But I just have to say, the rehab is nothing like a jail. They're very helpful, supportive, and patient with all the other patients in there with you. So I'd just like to thank them for being very nice and understanding. Growing up, I played a lot of competitive sports, including soccer, football, basketball, AFL, netball, you name it. I now have to go to the gym to keep myself fit, as my injury pushed me away from doing those sports. I also spend a lot of my spare time at home or with my animals, when I'm not catching up with friends, or I'm out, or when I'm not at work or the gym. I currently work at Woolworths Tormina on checkouts and in the bakery. I wish to look at studying in the future when I get my license, but I'm not exactly sure what I'd like to do. I was studying horticulture, but I found it a bit difficult to get to and from the TAFE, so I gave that up. Woolworths was a great help to me when my accident happened. They funded a lot of things like accommodation and food to my family, and they made a lot to me, which I still have. Wishing me a good recovery. They've always made me feel like a valued worker, and I will never forget that. In my spare time, I love to draw, plant, go for walks, or listen to music to keep myself busy. My biggest priority right now is to get my license, and after 1 year of seizure monitoring, I've just been cleared to drive again. Getting my license has been a big goal for me, and to finally get it has been a big weight off my shoulders. On the 16th of September 2020, when I was only 16 years of age, I was a part of a big car crash with a close friend at the time, plus a guy who was a driver. When we got found, I got raced to John Hunter Hospital, and I was there till the 21st of October, my dad's birthday. My dad told me he sat in his car and cried for hours after he found out that I was being moved to Sydney because it would be a lot harder for him to travel down and support me. And it breaks my heart hearing that, because he's always been a great person to lean on for me. He has helped organise a lot of the legal side of things that's come with my injury and spoke with me every single night when I was in rehab. I actually remembered his phone number after this significant injury, which was a big surprise to me and my dad. He has always tried his best to be involved with everything that was happening. He has always been a fantastic influence and mentor for me. My dad is one of the most strongest and most respected men I know. He does a lot of great things around the community to help himself and others live a healthier and better life. So I'd just like to thank him for being so amazing. When I woke up, I was in rural rehab. I got put here for further recovery. If it wasn't for all the help and therapy I've done, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. Working up to 30 to 40 hours a week, getting my 30 minutes to an hour exercise each day, and most importantly, loving life. When I left Ride Rural Rehab, that's when my recovery really started, because I continued physio once a week, then dropped to once a fortnight, and now I'm doing it once a month. I was doing regular OT and social work sessions every week, and I've dropped both of them as well. I was receiving 24/7 care, and I've dropped back to 3 to 5 hours a week, or when I feel I need it. I wasn't able to work. I wasn't allowed places by myself, and I had to be assisted with a lot of the basic life tasks like cooking, bathing, cleaning, managing my finances, and preparing for my household stuff. Now I can manage it all very well by myself. When I was in rural rehab, I learned to walk, speak, cook, and grow my independence back again. I had great support from all the therapists, Bridget being my physio, Kay being my OT, Janine being my pathologist, Bree being my recreational therapist, Joe being my psychologist, and Amy being an amazing social worker. Speaking of great social workers, I had the privilege of meeting Carol. She's done an amazing job to help and support me ever since leaving rural rehab. She was my social worker after I left rural rehab, and she's done so much to help me with my goals and achieving what I'd like to do next. So I hope she knows I am very grateful to have her. I used to walk with a pelican belt with 2 people either side of me to assist me with walking, but now I can go for runs on the treadmill for up to 12 to 15 kilometres an hour for up to 10 minutes. I've also learned to swim thanks to my physiotherapist Erin. Physio has helped me with a lot of my physical recovery, but learning to swim has been a massive goal for me my whole life, and I'm so very proud of myself for achieving that along the way. When I was in rehab, I made great friends who helped me through the everyday life in rural rehab. Vicky, JP, Neville, Lewis, Paul, plus many, many more. I also can't leave out all the nurses. They did an amazing job to help us all, and we all appreciate what they do. Thanks, Pro. During my time in rehab, my family was a great support to me. My mum and sister visit me every day. Can't leave out that my sister literally got a job right next to the rehab. And my mum came in every single day with snacks, different snacks, keeping me company, and attending and supporting me with my everyday sessions. They're amazing. My dad and I are talking every single night to catch up, and my brother always checking up on me and keeping contact. If it wasn't for all their help and support, then I wouldn't have had the courage to push through the rough days that came with it. The reason why my sister can't be here today is because she's gotten really fat. Nah, she's pregnant and is due to drop her second baby in October. My injury is something huge that has happened, but if it wasn't for all that, then Kirsten wouldn't have met the most wonderful and most lovable man named Dennis. I can't remember a thing from before the accident. My current memory are the stories I've been told in my life and who I was before this accident, and a lot of my old photos. When my family or friends shares memories, I often find myself pretending that I remember being there, or I just make some things up because I get tired of playing smart and asking people to remind me. I used to be living with my family before the accident, and when I returned to Coffs, I moved in with a very close friend named Natalie. And after 1 month, I moved in with Heal Support. I stayed with them for 2 years, as they provided 24/7 care in their homes for me, which up to now I've reduced to a few hours a week. One of the good things that have come good with my injury has been meeting Grace, my support worker and number one friend. She's helped me through thick and thin. It will never get boring with Grace. There's always something new and special to talk about, and new things to accomplish together. She has been an amazing friend and support worker to me. If my injury never happened, I know the universe would have done something special for us to meet. My memory is what suffers the most, and I have adapted by turning my life into a series of reminders, appointment dates, diaries, and alarms to function the way the world needs me to. You often find me on my phone, but that's my way of remembering what needs to happen and what needs to get done. My brain injury has limited my ability to achieve normal milestones that people my age easily accomplish. Things like driving, studying, working, kicking life goals. I didn't have those opportunities, and I'm still building those things for myself. Other things that I suffered from were relationships with my friends. While they were out partying and socialising, I was in my first stages of recovery. But I wouldn't change anything that had happened because I've got to meet some amazing therapists and doctors and made some incredible friends in rehab. And this injury has transformed me into the woman I am today. All these things might seem like small things to people who haven't suffered from a major injury, but these are significant accomplishments for me. I'm so grateful to be here and to be able to do these small things in life. It has helped me value my life and existence here on earth today. Thank you.
Well done. Beautiful. You head over there, sweetheart.
Thank you.
Well done, Piara. Connor, well done to you. Dad, my new hero. And the rest of your family. And we wish your other daughter grand luck with her pregnancy, not with her fatness. I've got a ragdoll cat at home. They can either be ragdolls or rat bags. As is a ragdoll, very beautiful, but you got the rat bag? Yeah. They're great cats if you get the right one. And I don't know what's over there. Is the catering department over there? Freya just, right. I thought it was me that she was looking at. Freya, you're killing me. So Piara's receiving her badge, her letter from the New South Wales Governor, and her frame story, which of course will appear on our wall of fame. Well done, Piara. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Piara. Great job. Our next ambassador is well known to Piara as he was one of her fellow patients when she was an inpatient here. JP, with the kind assistance of Naomi, who you may remember as one of last year's Wall of Fame ambassadors, they're going to share JP's rehab story. Are you going to read it?
I'm going to read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Come over here, mate, so the camera can see you.
Hi guys.
This is JP.
Hello, my name's Naomi. I'm an ambassador from last year, and it's my honour and privilege to share JP's story with you this morning. So my name, but really his name, is JP Lenner, and he started his Royal Rehab journey 5 years ago. He was independent for 1.5 years and made some wonderful friends here and became part of the team. He says he'll always be part of the Royal Rehab team, and I think they'd love to have you. JP had his accident in Vietnam where he lived and had a few businesses. The accident happened in farmland in the middle of nowhere where he was left for dead. Luckily, the guy that was involved in the accident came back a few hours later and found him. He took him to the hospital where he was eventually transported to a boat, then ambulance to Ho Chi Minh City, which was 5 hours away. Luckily, he doesn't remember anything. He fell asleep in Vietnam and woke up at Royal Rehab in Australia a little while later. So it felt, but this would include an airplane trip back to Australia and an inpatient stay at St Vincent's Hospital. You can only imagine what he looked like when he woke up. Rehab was really tough. He woke up from being in a coma for a long time and couldn't walk, talk, eat properly. It had tubes coming out of everywhere and couldn't raise his arms or use his hands, which were all bent and frozen. And so he's going to show you what they're like and what they're still like. He had to learn how to do everything again, like catching public transport by himself. It's really a true accomplishment to be able to do that. And it feels like he's doing everything again for the first time. He remembers doing laps in the courtyard for hours at a time because he wanted to practice driving his wheelchair. He knew that it was going to be a part of him, which it truly is forever. Round and round he did the laps. He had L plates on while he was getting his hours up. And I think we should look into setting up a wheelchair driving school at Royal Rehab. And he would like to chat with you afterwards, Dr. King, about establishing that. JP was really grateful for his family putting up photos all over his room. It really helped him regain his memory. He can recall often falling back asleep thinking it was all a dream. But honestly, he couldn't be more grateful for the staff at Royal Rehab and the friends that he met here that helped him start on this new journey in his life. His dad, Freya, always wants to be a part of everything. His dad dropped everything for him, and he'd been visiting 2 weeks prior to the accident and returned once he knew that he was in hospital. If it wasn't for him, he wouldn't be here today. JP doesn't remember anything, and so he's really lucky to have family and friends who visit him regularly to help him recover. It's still a struggle, but it's getting better. He's so grateful for everyone that's here today, and he lives independently with some help, and things are becoming a bit more manageable and becoming easier to do. Seriously, it feels like he's doing everything for the first time again. It's definitely challenging, but because of Royal Rehab, he's up for it. He recently had his final surgery after his accident, So, with sharing this story, he can finally say that he's really excited to start his new life. Pre-injury, he started a drink business back in Vietnam, and he's now started a business in Australia that manufactures thickened fluid, which he drinks all the time. Bit of quality control, making sure it's all right. And so it's Dysphagia Foods, and it's called Dudes. That's a cool name. And so he's focusing a lot of his spare time on bringing this to life. Again, he can't imagine how things would be if it wasn't for Royal Rehab. And so with sincere gratitude for this place and the supporting team and friends. So thanks heaps and well done. Congratulations.
Thank you, Naomi and JP, for sharing his story. Congratulations on the business. And JP's about to be presented with his frame, story badge, and Her Excellency's letter of congratulations. Is Julie Clark here today? Hello, Julie. Are you JP's yoga teacher? Yes. Well, and you're from All Ability Yoga. Yeah. Well done to you for everything you've done. Just wanted to acknowledge you too. A pleasure. Well done. Well done, JP. Thank you, Naomi, again. Okay. Unfortunately, our next ambassador, Evan, is unable to join us today as he now lives interstate and has both important work and personal commitments today. So, Evan, we're hoping you're watching on the live stream and we say hello to you. And I'm going to share Evan's story with you and I will speak as though I'm Evan. So you will hopefully give you a more intimate understanding of what he's been through. I grew up racing motorbikes, so got used to getting scratched, bruised and breaking the odd bone, but certainly never dreamt of breaking my brain or having permanent injuries. I started racing motorbikes when I was 4 years old and was national champion 26 times. At the time of my accident, I worked for the California Superbike School, part-time for a solicitor while I finished off my final uni semester and had my own business buying and renovating houses. On the 5th of May 2008, I went for a motorbike ride with my 19-year-old girlfriend as a pillion. We were involved in a serious accident and I have no recollection of the night. All I know is that the bike deviated and left the road just before a right-hand bend, and I then collided with a rock wall embankment and into a tree. Given the tyre marks over my clothing, it appears I was driven over and dragged beneath a car for 30 to 40 metres, and they didn't stop. I was found on the side of the road by a passerby and was semi-conscious. The paramedics found a shoe and then eventually my girlfriend, who had died. My family were unable to be located and were unaware of my accident until a friend just happened to read the newspaper the next morning. I was in surgery when my family arrived at the hospital. I had sustained multiple fractures, a traumatic brain injury and minor spinal cord injury. The first 5 weeks I was in a coma and the first 6.5 weeks I was on life support in ICU. I had a tracheotomy so I could breathe. When I woke up, I had no idea where I was or why. This was because I had a post-traumatic amnesia. I was like a goldfish with a 30-second memory. When I took my first steps, I was awake and talking to people, but don't remember being at the hospital. I caught pneumonia and lost a third of my body weight in a fortnight. I had PTA for 10 weeks and in the last week woke up in Royal Rehab. I spent 11 weeks there and felt alone and institutionalised due to being told when I could eat, go to the gym and see friends. For the first 2 years I had a carer most of the time, could not fly or get my driver's licence. Nowadays I cannot drink much alcohol and am more susceptible to another TBI for the rest of my life. I damaged the right side of my brain, which is responsible for short-term memory, balance and coordination. Due to the increased risk of having another TBI, I can never ride a motorbike again. My short-term memory is still a problem. I may never walk without a limp. I have had 46 major operations and require at least another major one to replace my hip joint. I get easily distracted and fatigued. Because of my reduced lung capacity, I try to keep fit. I'm far more disinhibited than I was before the accident. I'm a walking pharmacy which costs hundreds every month and will have monthly vitamin B12 injections for the rest of my life. I was lucky and had amazing family and friends around me who have been really supportive. It's been hard for them because they've had to adjust to the new person I have become. Since my accident, I had to rebuild my life. I completed my 2 degrees and my certified public accountant studies. After 5 years in the workforce, I became a commercial pilot in Tasmania. After moving to Brisbane, I became Chief Financial Officer of a multinational company, and that's where I work today. I've been married 9 years. I have a 3-year-old son. I look back on my recovery as nothing short of miraculous. I have an incredible family, great career and fantastic life. I am proud of what I've been able to achieve over the last 16 years, as I know that such a recovery isn't possible for everyone. I now know that my rehab will be ongoing for the rest of my life. That's Evan's story since his accident in 2008. So Evan, thank you on the live stream for sharing your story. And Evan will receive his frame story, his badge and letter from the New South Wales Governor in the next week. Well, we now have another ambassador all the way from Coffs Harbour, Brett. Where are you, Brett? There you are. Brett's going to share his story with you. Thank you.
All right. Hello. My name is Brett Finlay and I'm 36 years old. I'm one of 5 children. I grew up in the country town of Inverell until we moved north to Murwillumbah, where I spent my high school years. In 2007, I moved to Inverell and met my partner Claire, who I've now been married to for almost 10 years. We have 2 beautiful children, an 8-year-old girl and a 5-year-old boy. I spent all of my working career up until my daughter was born in hospitality, mainly working in pubs and clubs on the Gold Coast. When she was born, we moved to Coffs Harbour and I transitioned into banking, which gave me more flexibility in life and allowed me to spend more time at home. My time with the bank evolved rapidly, and before I knew it, I'd become a bank manager. My most recent role was the branch manager of St George, Coffs Harbour. On top of this, I also worked 3 to 4 nights per week doing grocery night fill. I loved keeping busy and I struggled to slow down. I had my brain injury on the 1st of July, 2023. I've had type 1 diabetes since my mid-20s and have done my best to keep my sugar levels very low, which I believe was the best way to manage it. Unfortunately, this meant that I suffered from hypoglycemia, regularly causing me to pass out or have seizures. On this day, my wife was at work and I was out shopping with the kids. I had low blood sugar and fell, striking my head against the ground. I'm unable to recall the following 2 weeks, but my earliest memory was being in the hospital at Coffs Harbour and my wife being with me, telling me that I had a traumatic brain injury. My skull had fractured when I hit the ground and I had a subdural hematoma. It's difficult to comprehend the severity of something when you have no memory of it. And because of this, I became a flight risk, attempting to leave the hospital and refusing the comfort and care my family and the doctors and nurses were trying to provide. I did my best to convince everyone that I was fine, even when the left side of my face was paralysed and I couldn't achieve a symmetrical smile or raise my eyebrow. It took a lot of time and patience from all those around me, but finally I started to come around and understand what had happened and what I needed to do to get better. I was transferred to the Royal Rehab Brain Injury Unit via care flight after spending a month in the Coffs Harbour Hospital. It was here that I truly come to accept the challenges that I now faced and the changes that had occurred. I found myself unable to recall things, difficulty speaking confidently the way I once did, and most of all, noise of everyday life was now unbearable. The team at Royal Rehab were incredible. Everyone I met was so passionate about their job and was so genuine in wanting to help. The investment that they put into helping people during the hardest time of their lives is truly inspirational. I was always kept busy, for example, going to physio every morning, going to karaoke group, and playing my guitar and walking the recreational area outside, which I loved. My wife and kids were unable to visit me as they were so far away. However, their video calls every morning and night made every day just a little bit easier. Being at Royal Rehab felt like the first time in a very long time that I was forced to slow down. With the help of the team, I was able to stop and reflect on my own life, thinking about how I could be better and use the experience to better myself. The greatest lesson I learned was simply not being afraid to ask for help or admitting that things are not okay. By accepting help, you allow positive change and you allow another person that is the satisfaction of helping. I'm so fortunate to have always had my family with me. My wife is such a comfort and she was relentless in supporting me, encouraging me to accept the help I needed. And my kids are such an important reminder of how much I'm needed in their lives as a father and best friend. I keep myself busy now, walking every day, playing musical instruments, spending my nights outside with my telescope, studying the night sky, and most importantly, playing with my wonderful children. Although I'm not quite there yet, my goal is to return to work and pick up where I left off, only this time, taking the time for myself when I need it and not forgetting the importance of what is at home waiting for me. I also hope to start volunteer work shortly, whether it's at my daughter's primary school or the local hospital where I first received urgent care. I feel a renewed sense of purpose after my injury and I want to use the time that I have now to help others. That is the greatest reward. I'm eternally grateful to everyone at Royal Rehab. The work that you do is so important and I hope you all know what a positive impact it had on my life and the path I take now. Thank you.
Well done, mate. Well done, Brett. You did not stumble once then. I think he can be my backup. Top job. Top job. Now, this is obviously the family photo. What are your names, kids? I couldn't hear you. Still can't hear, but Aria and Hunter. Hunter's one of my favourite names. Well done, kids. Are you proud of Dad? Proud of Dad? Yeah. Beautiful. Well done. Well done for the love and support you give him and to Mum, of course, as well. A lovely family photo. Beautiful. Congratulations, Brett. Fantastic. Our final Wall of Fame ambassador and globetrotter, Stuart. Would you please welcome Stuart to the microphone so he can share his Wall of Fame story. Stuart.
Cheers. Thanks, Peter. Thank you. Hi, guys. My name's Stuart Hurst. I haven't put anything together. I'm just going to do it off the cuff. But having said that, what the guys who have just come up previous to me have all said, it's an identical story. It is the recovery you guys have done is amazing, and I feel like that as well now. So it is fantastic. My accident was a motorcycle accident in Nepal. I was over in Nepal on a 3-year trip around the world, and seemingly I bought a motorcycle. The last thing I can remember was standing at the top of my youth hostel in Pokhara, overlooking Lake View, and I took some photos there. And I had that morning taken this is my brain injury. God, I can't even remember the name of the bike. But anyway, I took the bike for a test ride, and that was the last thing I can remember doing. Obviously, I must have bought it because friends have seen photos and stuff like that on Facebook, which I must have put on. But the reason I was in Nepal is my brother Andrew, who is here today with his lovely wife Jo. He was doing the Mount Everest Base Camp walk. I lived in New Zealand for 35 years, or outside of Australia for 35 years. Every time I came home to Australia would be to New South Wales to see my mum and dad and some of the brothers that lived here. I'm one of 6 boys. I'm the youngest, the best looking. Mum and dad got to number 6 and reached perfection, so end of story. So that's how we look at it, or it's how I look at it. But anyway, because Andrew lived in Brisbane, I didn't get to see him that often. He'd been over to New Zealand a few times, and so I thought, oh, bugger it. I went from Taipei in Taiwan up to Nepal and just spent time with him. And then whilst I was there, I started volunteering at a school, doing some building work whilst the place had blown down in a big storm. Anyway, so after he'd done his base camp walk, we caught up again. He flew back to Brisbane, and that's when I had my accident. Seemingly, had purchased the bike, was driving it back to the school or riding it back to the school where I had the accident, where I was volunteering, and had the accident on the way back. Andrew arrived back in Brisbane, found out I had the accident, and flew straight back to Kathmandu. Initially, I was transported to Pokhara Hospital by a road ambulance, and then flown from Pokhara to Kathmandu Hospital, and that's when the embassy was known because of my Australian passport. Andrew heard of the accident, came to Kathmandu, and so everything you're about to hear basically is his knowledge and another brother's knowledge, Philip, and a niece's knowledge, because I knew nothing and still can't remember it. But given I broke everything I own, my pelvis, my sterns, all that sort of stuff, ribs, neck, skull, I'm so pleased I had the TBI at the same time because I can't remember a thing. So I must have been in some incredible pain. And Dr. King, he'll tell you that I was full of superbugs. So I'm just so pleased that I couldn't feel a thing. Andrew when he was in Kathmandu, rang my niece, who is the daughter of, the eldest daughter of my brother Philip, who is here. She works for the embassies. She was working in Dubai, and having worked in 5 years in Bangkok, Andrew, my brother, rang her and said, get him out of here, because he wasn't allowed to see me physically. He was see me through a glass window and things like that. So she organised for me to be flown from Kathmandu to Bangkok, because Bangkok seemingly is the go-to hospital for the Middle Eastern areas. So I was flown to Bangkok, and because my brothers know that I never travel with insurance, but this time Trudy, my niece, had told me before I left, she said, get insurance, get insurance, get insurance. So I did. I've done a lot of travel, and 99% of it's been without insurance. This time I bought it, but I was foolish enough to not let anyone know that I'd purchased and who I'd purchased it with. So Philip and the rest of the brothers and the family, they told the air people that they would underwrite the flights and they would cover any cost. And Philip and Andrew were ringing around all the insurance companies trying to find it all out. And finally, my niece, Carmel, who's here today also, she's my eldest niece, and she's the eldest child of my eldest brother. I was living with in Strathfield or North Strathfield prior to the accident. She knew what the insurance company was and let them know. So the insurance side was covered in the end. So I'm very grateful to Fast Cover Insurance for covering the costs of a week or so in Kathmandu, a flight from Kathmandu back to Bangkok, I think 3 to 4 weeks in Bangkok, where all the metal work was done in my body by a Dutch surgeon, funnily enough. And then I was flown from Bangkok to Sydney. But whilst I was in Bangkok, Andrew and Philip did a swap. Philip flew up and he took over Andrew's role, and they were all both posting Facebook about the story of what had happened. So then I finally woke up in Royal North Shore Hospital after I spent 6 weeks in intensive care, and then up into Ward 7E, which is amazing. Ward 7E is... This is where I start to break down, so I do apologise. But so I woke up 9 months later, as far as I was aware, in Royal North Shore Hospital, and then they decided that I needed to get to Royal Rehab, and funnily enough, I went there, I think it was in November, but the biggest problem for me, no one told me I couldn't walk. So in bed one night, I told the nurse, well, bugger you, I'm getting up and I'm going home. Even though home was in New Zealand, seemingly I stood up or I got to the end of the bed, threw my legs over the end, stood up and fell on my ass. So then I was sent back to Royal North Shore, and I think I was back there for another 3 months before I got sent back to Royal Rehab. Finally, I got into Royal Rehab, I don't know when, but I was there for 14 months in the end. And Royal Rehab are amazing, as were the staff and the nurses at Royal North Shore were fantastic, because not that I can remember a great deal, but I had a nurse at my bedroom door every night or every day, every part of the day. And then finally the goal seemingly was to get to Royal Rehab, which I finally got there. So I owe Royal North Shore 7E a tremendous amount of my life. And then on top of that, the staff at Royal Rehab, simply amazing. And I'm fortunate enough that not 90%, but a good number of them are in the room today. Dr. King, who was my neurosurgeon, or neurodoctor I should say, he looked after everything I needed, right through to Audrey is here somewhere. Audrey was my speech therapist. So they are literally amazing. Amy, who's sitting here in front of me, my case manager, absolutely amazing. And fortunately, she's married to a Kiwi. I love New Zealand very much, and unfortunately I can't go back, but I do trips. And also there's Bree, my recreational therapist. She's here somewhere as well, and she was amazing. I was in room 6, and they were in the room next door, in room 7, I think it was. But I owe them a hell of a lot. You've got no idea. And Kel is here somewhere. He was the one playing all the music outside. He's at the back there. Kel and his team of therapists, they got me and taught me how to use a wheelchair, which was fantastic, because I'm in a wheelchair now for life. I can't walk. I'm a T10 complete para. And as I said, I had the TBI at the same time. I don't really know what part of my brain I stuffed up, but I stuffed up a hell of a lot of it. And back now, what I'm really enjoying in life is I don't give a toss the fact that I can't walk. So what? I'm a paraplegic. Who cares? The best thing for me is I got my brain back, and a lot of that comes down to Royal Rehab. So you've got no idea how much I owe to Royal Rehab, and hearing the other guys' stories. it just was so heart-feeling because it was my story. And I know exactly what they're going through and what they've been through. But the good thing is I've been asked by a lot of my friends that how I recovered, because I shouldn't be alive, I shouldn't be here, and I shouldn't be able to sit here in front of you and talk. But I do, and I don't know why. I literally have no idea why I am like I am today. I consider myself to be back to what I consider normal. Don't ask my brothers, they won't say or agree, but anyway. But the good thing about it is I can now travel again, which is last September I went to Norway to see the Northern Lights, which was a bucket list of mine, and I finally did it and loved it. I've got another trip planned for Alaska next September. And then in the meantime, I'm back and forth to New Zealand as often as I can to see my family. My wife, where I'm estranged and legally separated from, but still she's one of my best friends. And my 3 kids and my grandson, they're all in New Zealand, and I love to go back as often as I can, and we talk regularly. And I've been really fortunate this year. I've had my eldest daughter with my only grandson come and visit me 3 times. My son's been over with his girlfriend, who I think, and I'm pretty confident, will become his wife at some point in time. And my youngest daughter, Bella, she's been over. So I've been really lucky. I've had all 3 of the kids come over and stay with me. And fortunately, JP and I live in the same building, which is an Enliven-owned apartment, and I get really well looked after by. Unfortunately, for the Australian taxpayer, I haven't paid tax in Australia forever. I paid all my tax in New Zealand. I'm here living on the Australian taxpayer, so thank you. I do what I can. I belong to several research groups. One in particular is at the University of New South Wales, is the NEURA, which is the Neurological Research Centre. I work there and I do for them what I can. And I also am part of Summer Foundation and Liberty Housing, and we're running a campaign which is building better houses for disability and people who are disabled. The New South Wales government and the West Australian government are the only 2 governments who haven't signed up to the Accessible Building Code. So we're running in programs about that, so I'm very heavily involved in that. So that's my way of saying thank you, guys. I really do appreciate your tax and you guys supporting me. So I do appreciate that. So thank you. But so all I'd like to say is just a thank you, guys, for that. Royal Rehab and the staff, Dr. King, Amy, Bree, Audrey, Ian, and Hansel, my nurse, who was my chief nurse, Hansel, and Sonny, they were all absolutely amazing people. And I owe them my life. So thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Stuart, for sharing your incredible story. Are brothers here today? I thought you might be a brother. You are the best. No, yeah. And over there too, welcome and thank you for supporting Stuart today and for what Stuart's doing now to help others. It's terrific. That's Denise. While Stuart's presentation is wrapping up, I think what I've taken away from all 10 of these that I've done is there's a common thread, and it's the role of family and carers. So would all carers, be they loved ones or professional, please stand up with family members. You're a carer as well, so we can give you a round of applause for everything you have done for our... Resilience, flexibility, commitment, that's what it is, and love. Well done. I'd like to invite Royal Rehab's chairman, Mr. Anthony Staveley AM, to the microphone for some final words. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter, and I just sort of echo those thoughts. It's always an amazing thing on this day to have not just our staff who do an incredible job, but the families and the carers that are so important in the whole process of recovery. And so on our behalf, thank you to the carers and the families of our incredible recipients today. It's my great pleasure to be able to stand here to thank people at this event, and there are so many to thank. I think Stuart's speech pathologist needs a huge amount of thanks for today. But as we just are in the shadow of the Olympics and the eve of the Paralympics next week, I think we have a bunch of gold medalists in the room today that have been on an almighty journey and achieved great success. So to all the Wall of Fame participants today, thank you for the incredible courage that you have shown to be here and to have gone on your journey. Thank you. Royal Rehab has been doing this for 125 years this year, which is quite an event, as well as it being 20 years of the Wall of Fame and 20 years of Gogglebox I found out the other night too, but I think, and I've never seen an episode. But 125 years for an organisation is a great achievement in its own, and those 125 years of ours are just full of a great swelling of pride for what our current staff and board members, and I acknowledge our board members that are also here today, do and have done for all of that period of time. I'd hate to try and put a number on the number of people that we've helped back to being in a position where they might be rejoining work or they can just rejoin their community. It's a tremendous achievement, and I'm proud of our organisation for that. I've got to thank some people, or I want to thank some people, I don't have to. But I'd especially like to thank Susan Pearce for coming today to present the awards from New South Wales Health, and also for Councillor Penny Pedersen for being here from Right Council. Again, Penny's been here umpteen occasions, and we always appreciate your support. As was just mentioned, I also would like to thank Kel Smith for his music at the beginning, and he's trying to hide up the back there, but I was just handed an envelope. I don't think I'll read it, and there's a particular award in here, but there is a gift for you, Kel, so if you'd like to just come forward and take this. I think that's a surprise for Ian Irving. But and on that, to Ian Irving and Audrey, Natalie, and Marissa, Amy, Brianne, and Martina, all who have worked so hard to put today together and bring forward yet another event that is truly inspiring. I'm also going to just do a shout out because there was one Wall of Famer that I bumped into earlier who's sitting up in the overflow room, so Katie Boyd, who, thank you, Katie, and a common thread there I heard with Woolworths, and Katie certainly is a valuable member of Woolworths at my local shopping centre. Today is also a very special day in that we actually have an additional Wall of Fame member here with us today. As was said earlier, this is the 10th Wall of Fame that Peter Overton AM has presided over as our MC. You can say a lot about Peter, but it's just evident by the sort of guy he is and what he does in the community and the way he does it that does bring him here each year. And for that, I can only say, and I'll mimic you, Peter, thank you. Thank you. So if you would like to come over to the wall, we have a small presentation.
Many years ago, who asked me to do this many years ago. Where was it? At the East? Was it right Eastwood? Yeah, so thank you, Jim.
I just have one last thing, and I'll also thank Jim for the incredible work he's done for us over the years too. Thank you, Jim. I've just one last thing, and I was asked to give a plug to our 125-year Gala Ball. So tickets are available; they're online. So please buy a ticket and join us at the Art Gallery of New South Wales if you're able to do it, or if you're able to promote it to someone else. That would be fantastic. I don't know, Peter, have you got more to wrap up? But okay, I will just say once again, on behalf of Royal Rehab, our board, our staff, congratulations to the recipients today. A wonderful job.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for coming today. Very moved by that. So you attend a lot. I host hundreds of charity events, and this is You often don't get, you just say thanks, they say thanks for coming. So that's really lovely. Thank you. Look, thanks for all attending today. It's wonderful. Who is it, JP? Another drink order? You can take it. I think we're going to host, there are plans, I should say, to host the event outside next year, which that's just to accommodate everyone because we have the overflow room and we've got people online and so on. So let's now put into action Brain Injury Awareness Week and connect with each other over lunch outside. This year's Wall of Fame ambassadors, we'd love you with their friends and family and the brain injury, another order, JP, brain injury service staff to remain inside for a group photo over there at the media wall. If you could just stay behind. But that concludes today. Enjoy our hospitality. Thank you for coming. Thank you for caring. We'll see you next year.